この番組はご覧のスポンサーの提供でお送りします。Hi everybody. I fucked up something. I don't know how it happened. I think I just missed the button at the beginning of the recording. But for this episode of Princess Tutu, I only recorded my screen and didn't record myself. So there's just my voice, and that's it. I don't have a way to fix that. Like, the only thing that I could do would be to just, like, sit here and, like, not say anything, and that would be super useless. So I'm just gonna cut it together the way that it is, the way that I did the one other time that something like this has happened, which was with Monogatari. I'm really sorry. This hasn't happened in a long time, and this isn't a matter of, like, something got fucked up by OBS. I just apparently didn't click the right button, and so it's fucked. Yeah. Sorry. Hope you enjoy. Peace. Alrighty, welcome everyone. I'm Teeaboo, and I am here for the finale of Princess Tutu. It is bittersweet, but also very exciting to be here at the end of this crazy, weird storybook show. Last week, a whole lot of stuff happened, and a lot of it dealt with our characters' internal worlds and motivations. The core of the episode, I think, was the scene in the bottom of the lake as Tutu and Fakir, or Ahiru and Fakir, find mutual unconditional acceptance and care for each other in the midst of drifting into oblivion and sadness and despair. And it was goddamn beautiful. A lot of the episode dealt with enabling Tutu/Ahiru to return the final heart shard to Muto, because she found that it was in the pendant that she's been wearing this whole time. Final trick played by Drosselmeyer, and she was unable to take it off, presumably because of fear of the unknown and fear of not being her anymore, going back to what she was before and not knowing if she'd be accepted as that. And then the lake scene happens. On the other front, Muto expressed his sort of undying adoration for Rue and for who she was to him for all of this time, and demonstrates a desire to go in and save her from that raven. At which point, Ahiru Tutu shows up, releases him from his weird angel's egg position, and returns the last shard to him, a pair of fluttering wings for him to fly to Rue and save his princess, turning her into a duck who he still loves and still admires for her courage, because he's the true prince who loves everyone and loves them for real for the reasons that they deserve love. And that's really freaking cool. So, we come to the present. Drosselmeyer is actively taking a hand in things, and by taking a hand, I mean taking Fakir's hand and forcing him to write a bunch of shit, which Fakir didn't like very much and stabbed himself through with a letter opener. Yeah, a little bit of rejecting the narrative that's being presented to you. Real good. But here we are at the very end. Rue is our captive. Ahiru is a duck. Muto is back in action with full power and reconstituted his magic super sword, which is super dope. And we left off on the final question from Drosselmeyer. Now, Prince, will you shatter your heart again? Will you go through the same cycle? Will you choose tragedy to continue? And do you have another choice? I don't think that Drosselmeyer has laid out another choice, but I don't think that's necessarily going to matter, because our characters have been moving and edging closer and closer to the brink of truly rejecting their author's choices for them. And I think that's probably what's going to happen here. But I want to be clear and say that this is probably the least certain I have been about any ending of a show in a very long time, because this is Princess Tutu, and it's a weird, crazy meta storybook story within a story, and I don't know what to expect here. But I expect to be satisfied either way, and I expect that we will find out, finally, exactly what Adel meant when she said a particular line at the beginning of the show, which I'm sure we'll come back to. So, without further ado, which is a weird thing to say because it inevitably contains further ado, just saying without further ado is further ado, which is kind of whack. Anyway, without further ado, let us watch episode 26 of Princess Tutu. I've got the episode up and ready to go. There will be two versions as usual, picture-in-picture version in the description, timer up on YouTube. You want to sync up? You can sync up. Beep beep timer's coming at you. Let's go. Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yep. Yep. And we'll see if that's the ending that we end up having. Because we got another storyteller in the mix now. And his name be Fakir, and he's a real cool dude. Alright, I'm gonna shut up and listen to this OP one last time. Right. That sounds like I'm expecting the not. How interesting. And lacking perspective on stories. What if we didn't instead? Omerito. Straight up just gonna call it, oh, the Nutcracker finale. Of course it matters. Hell yeah. Why not? He loves everybody. Hell yeah. You writing? What you writing, Fakir? Oh. Well, he's just gonna charge through those. Stop calling. Stop it. Oh. Oh. That's a dick move. Dance through him. Dance fight? Nope. Oh. That's very Tutu of you. Whoa. Hey, the prince is kind of dope. Whoa, that's actually really cool looking. Okay. Oh, jeez. Fakir is writing along. He's writing what's happening. Is he... But back to his question from before. Oh, Jesus. Was that PK? No. Jesus. Do everything she can, man. She can't do much. She's a duck. Oh, thanks, Wind. Would you look at that? Fakir is making changes. Eh. Uh-oh. Wait. Uh-oh. Muto, you are the protector. Oh, Jesus. He can't change it. You got it right, fam. The pen, the pen. The pen, the pen. Hey, Aotoa's actually right here. The thing that your great-great-great-great-granddad never could do. Oh, hi, Yuzura. Can you go help? I'm sorry, what? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Well, that's not going well. Don't let them. No, you're being forced into a corner. You're being backed into that corner. That's Drosselmeyer's work. Stop it. Come on, Fakir. Everybody in the Dark Night of the Soul right now. Yeah, but you got each other, fam. You could do a lot. Oh, fuck you. Fuck you. See, no, you reward your characters for struggling. Okay. Because you want it that way. Because you're a sadistic bastard. Because you don't have a reason. You're just a shitty writer. He's not. He's doing the opposite. Jesus Christ. Big +1 to Aotoa. No, we've been there before. He's prepping to stab himself through the chest. Uh-oh. Maybe don't. Yeah. Let's not. No, this is not the right way. This is too tragic. This is too Drosselmeyer. Fakir. Fakir. Yeah, don't do it. Fakir. Break the cycle. Fakir, break the cycle. Ooh, all the moments. The little duck. Don't say you love him. Yeah. Okay. Write her into Tutu. Write her into Tutu. Write her into Tutu. What if she was? But what if she was? Dancing as a duck? Oh, you gonna tell me that the power is within her the whole time? I don't dislike that at all. Become a small... Oh my god, that's mid-roll? This is tense. What? Oh, okay. This makes sense. The same dance? Yeah. All the same moves she's done before. I'll actually give him that one. It's a pretty good storyline. But I want you to fight it, Rue. God, these are gorgeous cuts. Alright, Tutu Ahiru. Yeah, but... Oh, that's weighty. I just got chills. Holy shit, she's gonna save everyone. That is PK and Lilie, and that's Neko Sensei. Yeah, but that's what she really is. Uh-huh. Okay. Hell yes. Oh. Oh. Yes. 1,000% yes. But... Oh, that's fucking sweet. Try it. Prince. Let's go. Whoosh. So you want to enter into a battle of wills with fucking Ahiru? Good luck. Good luck. Keep dancing in the darkness, Ahiru. You got it. Why? Jesus. Okay, that's maybe not working as well as I had hoped. You go do that. Let's go. That was dope as hell. Mm. All right, we are heading toward climax. I feel like everything's gonna happen in one moment, and we're just gonna see all the different seeds of it at the same time. Oh! We're a little before that. Oh, Jesus, why didn't you? And you're gonna go for the kill. Holy dopeness. Yes, but... What are you about to do, Yuzura? Huh? What was that? That's what I meant. Don't engage in a battle of wills with that idiot. Hell yeah. Gambare. Autoa. Fully redeemed. Jesus. Hmm. Perseverance and love. Hi. Okay. Up, up, and away. Let's go. Huh? All right, that's the heart. Jesus. Oh, hi! Oh, hi! Hi. Okay. Hello, Ahiru. Good job, little duck. What? 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 Ah. Ah. Break that shit. Hell yeah. Fuck this place. That's what I'm talking about. It needs a human touch. That's like legit the moral, isn't it? Hell yes. I mean, like, hell yes. Yeah, and? Yeah, and? Oh. Oh. But, just Rue. Alright, buddy, that's pretty smooth. Smooth. Well, that's dope. Yes, finally, yes it is, Yuzura. Bye, I guess. What? Everyone's forgotten. Wait, what? Oh, just a cat. Everyone's back to normal. All the people who were animals are now animals again. Go stay dead. Yeah. Fuck you, yes I can. Oh, no, 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 no. Alright. Back to the beginning. Fakir to finish this story. Oh, hi Fakir. Hi Ahiru. Glunk. Ooh. That's it. It just ends. It doesn't play the ED? It does not. Off wide der Sehe. Goodbye. Yes, that was the tear-jerking ending the story had decided upon. Sorry, I'm a little just like kind of stunned, honestly, because this was really fucking good. This is a really fucking good ending. Everything from Drosselmeyer's opening lines about tragedy and the inevitability of it and the failure of happy endings and how uninteresting he finds happy endings. everything from that to the pure like strength that Tutu embodies, and the like desperation that everybody experiences near the middle of the episode as everything goes wrong until our characters can pull it back together by working together, by choosing to write their own stories, by alternately accepting or rejecting their fates, with Rue rejecting the influence of the Raven's blood upon her, and in the previous episodes declaring her love so powerfully that it breaks the prince Muto free of his shackles, of his raven form, allowing him to reject despair and to reject his destiny as the prince. Like, not only the destiny that he will fall in love with Ahiru, but also the sort of destiny of being this untouchable, unreachable non-character who just loves everyone and is loved by everyone, and instead choosing something that he wants. He rejects his fate. But then on the other side, Ahiru accepts herself as she is, and uses not some external power granted to her by a gem or by a crazy storyteller, but the actual things that she's learned to dance as a duck, as herself, and to express without the false face of being Tutu or anything like that, to express all of these emotions and her own strength, her own hope, and her own desire for everyone else to see that glowing light that's burning within her and can burn within each of them. And it does. And with that, Fakir accepts his role as storyteller eventually. He almost doesn't. He almost runs out to try and take direct action, right? And Aotoa is the one who stops him. No, if you're going to write a story, you sit down and you write that story till the end. Because we know what happens if you don't. We're in it. We're living it. We're living Drosselmeyer's unfinished business. Finish your stories. All of that, and then piled on top of all of that, are scenes like Rue performing a number of the dances that we've seen from her before, and the like dance fight that Muto goes on, buoyed up by this like beautiful pillar of flower petals, rising up to seek out his one true love and also the defeat of his one true enemy. That's fucking awesome. And all of it centers around this point about telling our own stories and not letting anyone else tell them for us. And there's like a multi-layered meta point about fiction and narratives and how we allow them to shape our own worlds, all built into it. And this core idea of it is like, if we take it in context of all of the things that Drosselmeyer has done and said, and all of the things that we've said or thought about the Raven and its potential nature, or like a perspective on it as like an audience, a greedy audience that just wants to consume and consume and consume, or on Drosselmeyer and his view of characters as not individual creatures or people with their own motivations and choices who should dictate the nature of the story, but as cogs in a machine moving endlessly toward the ending that he has preordained. All of that comes to a head in this episode, and what's expressed is this powerful individualism that says that not only characters in stories, but individuals in the real world can take control of their lives, their selves, their realities, and reshape them to fit what they want, what they actually desire. And all that it takes is a little bit of hope, a lot of strength, a boatload of perseverance, and the willingness to, or the unwillingness actually, to allow other people to dictate what their lives can be. And that story thread is woven in broken, cut up bits and pieces, little strings of yarn all throughout the various different stories, from Freya and her love for the flowers and desire to give all of that to the other people, to, I forget her name, the character who was unwilling to cede control of her own story to the person that she loved. And over the course of these last couple episodes, a lot of our characters have ceded control over their own stories to those who they love. In a big way, Ahiru cedes that to Fakir, right? Why can Fakir write about Ahiru? It's still a core question that I don't think we get a complete answer to. And I think it's a really interesting one because of that. And I would love, if you have thoughts on it, for you to write those in the comments. I think one thing that I'll throw out there is that it's because she accepts him and believes in him, and so he's able to write about her because she allows it. Maybe. I don't know. But gosh, I just want to go back through this entire episode again because it's so freaking cool. The horrifying mass of crows just going, "Give us your heart, give us your heart." Awful. The animation on some of these major princely sequences, like this spiraling, this pirouetting sequence is gorgeous, and then it turns into that spiraling confluence of flower petals, very much like Ahiru's first leap to save the prince as he fell out of that balcony window. Gosh. It's so pretty, and that's not even mentioning these super cool scenes with the tracking camera showing him flying through the air and pirouetting around. He looks freaking badass, and we believe in him at this moment, but it's a constant give and take, a constant back and forth between, yes, Mewtwo's gonna oh god. It manages to maintain tension for an inordinately long period of time over the course of this episode. This episode is tense. There's only a few minutes at the end where things settle and we're like, oh, okay, we're calming down, we're doing denouement, but most of this episode is just sheer pure tension. Can we do this? Can we make it through? Stacking the deck further and further and further against our characters. Fakir finds himself unable to write what he was trying to. He doesn't have complete control. And so she falls, and so does the prince. And here's that moment. Ahiru! Wait. What will you do? You're not a knight. Accept who you are. And find happiness. Right? There is something really weird about this one shot. Just this one shot. Like, they fucked up the line work somehow. I don't know what happened here. It just looks really weird. But, we get this, like, amp up of tension, and then we introduce, like, the axe murderer at the door bursting through, and then we fucking give Aotoa the chance to fully redeem himself in every way, if you don't already think that he's redeemed, because I didn't. I don't like Aotoa that much, or I didn't before this episode, where he gets real hopeful and real serious and actually puts his shit on the line in order to save everyone. That's freaking awesome. Good job, Aotoa. And all of these scenes of Tutu finding herself powerless, finding herself caught up in the flow of the story and unable to change it, until she does what she's always done but only ever been able to do with the power of Tutu. All our characters find themselves in the deepest pit of despair. A duck who can't do anything. And Drosselmeyer laughs. Ha ha ha. It's exactly the point. Tragedy is all that matters. And on that note, like, there's something, maybe, I don't know if true is the right word, but there's something resonant about Drosselmeyer's whole perspective on tragedy. Of course, we've learned over the course of the show that Drosselmeyer is himself a sadist and, like, is not someone who we should trust about the justifications for certain types of stories or certain types of acts done toward characters. He's just not trustworthy. But there is, like, there's an element of truth, I guess, to what he says about tragedy. Stories are built on drama, and, you know, if everybody's just purely content and fine, then that's kind of boring and bullshit. And I feel like as we grow up and grow out of fairy tales, which is relevant because this is a fairy tale, or a fairy tale world, as we grow up, we start seeing the happily ever after, you know, Cinderella goes and lives with the prince, and they live happily ever after, I guess. What does that even mean? What does that consist of? That's so fake. But not when you understand what's happening. Like, our story here has a happily ever after, right? Fakir writes a happy story for all of his friends and everybody else in the town, and hangs out on the dock with Duck Ahiru, and everything's great. Yay! But it doesn't feel empty or invalid or false. Why not? Because our characters fought for it, because they care about it, because we watched them. There's this trade-off between torturing your characters, which is precisely what Drosselmeyer does, and making them suffer in order to reach their goals. There's a difference, and there's something about stories that I think we all feel, which is tragedy occurs when our characters work towards something, and because of the nature of their world or the nature of their position, they're unable to reach it. Like the tragedy of Romeo and Juliet, last episode's title or namesake, is, and stories live on forever, of course, but the tragedy is that these two characters are not allowed by their world to fall in love with each other, and then a sequence of smaller tragedies leads them both to death. And that's a lot of how tragedy functions and should function. Tragedy doesn't really work if just bad things just happen. Tragedy works when we want our characters to fight through the bad things and reach something better. And so, what is the core? What is the center? Well, it's the same thing that Princess Tutu or Ahiru or the duck wields in her final choice to dance. It's hope. And what is hope? It's the thing that drives us forward through darkness towards some light. And that's exactly what happens here. Yeah, no matter how hard you try, the more you struggle, the more tragic it will become. And this is the core problem right here. Why? I don't know. Why not? Well, I'll tell you why not, Drosselmeyer. Because there's a responsibility for every author to have some level of compassion for their characters, and you're incapable of that. If you had that compassion for the characters, you would understand why they seek happiness, and you would be able to create a story that denies them that happiness in an interesting and satisfying way. But you're unable to see that, and so you just torture them and lead them toward inevitable endings and don't care for what they want and taking it away from them. You just take away everything from them. Their ability, their everything. I mean, the story of Princess Tutu turning into a speck of light and vanishing is exactly that, right? What's the bad thing that I can do to Tutu? She disappears and isn't able to be anymore. She just vanishes. Ha ha ha. That's a shitty tragedy, Drosselmeyer, because it doesn't have anything to do with what the characters actually want. And it's unwilling to change based on who those characters are, even to change based on his own changes to the story, like bringing Ahiru into it. So, Drosselmeyer's a fool. But so are so many of us. And it leads us to this moment. What can I do? And that's exactly what he wants. He wants them to be in deep despair and then to fail. Ha ha ha. No, 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 no. The greatest tragedy has no finale. The suffering is endless. And so we come to this peak moment where the prince feels himself backed into a corner and decides to pierce his own heart again, bringing us back to square one of the original story, making everything that we've experienced, all of the people that we've fought for, all of the love that we've shared, all of the understanding of each other that we've experienced, making all of it invalid. Making everything that we've learned, everything that our goofy little Genki girl Tutu has learned and accomplished and become over the course of this story, worthless. And wouldn't that be an even better tragic ending for Drosselmeyer? Well, it would. It would, absolutely. But, As much as Tutu is willing to accept herself as she is, to accept her abilities as a duck, she has acquired a whole lot of strength over the course of these 25 previous episodes. A whole lot of strength and a whole lot of care and a whole lot of hope. Because every time she's come across somebody who was dark or driven down the wrong path or twisted by something else, she's been able to express her own emotions and get through to them and show them hope on the other side, show them that whatever they're doing isn't leading them to their real core motivations. It isn't who they are. And so they turn. And so in this last moment, watching as all of that might fall away and become nothing, Tutu, as Ahiru, as the duck, thinking that she can do nothing, does the only thing that she can do and chooses to dance. I can still dance. I can still express my internal world to all of you. And she does. And it works. In that moment, and in every moment that Tutu has begun to dance, she has become an author in a small way and shown other people a different path, a different story. And so here, in the middle of this field of evil, twisted crows, this little duck dances. And it's the most powerful thing in the story. More powerful than its author, more powerful than anyone. She dances. And it's enough to shake Muto and change his mind, to shake all of these Raven people out of it, although it takes a little while. That's freaking awesome. Repeat the same thing over again. You mustn't. There's a liberal use of previously used scenes here and a couple with Fakir, and I would consider the dances that Rue does to be somewhat in the same vein. But you mustn't do that. Please stop. Quack, 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 quack. So you intend to resist. What do you think to do? Dance. Let's give this story a happy ending. I'll give Drosselmeyer credit here. As much as I hate a lot of parts of Rue's story, it is a deeply and I think accurately tragic story. She is bound by her blood to the Raven and thus unable to love the prince who she loves. That's actually good tragedy. But then Drosselmeyer takes it way too overboard a lot of times. It makes it way too I'm just gonna torture my characters. But he's not wrong. Your tragedy has lent a magnificent touch to my story. What he doesn't recognize is that her salvation, her redemption, her choice to be herself and to choose her love over all of that tragedy is a much better story. It's a much more magnificent touch to any story, I think. Maybe somebody disagrees, but yeah. Die away in the depths of despair. Also, all of the cuts of Rue dancing are freaking awesome looking. Also, all of the cuts of Ahiru dancing, when we get those, are freaking awesome looking. But all of this is just gorgeous, and they're all dances that we've seen from her before. I wouldn't have thought you still felt sorrow. Well, thanks. That makes it even more tragic. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Fuck you, Drosselmeyer. I love this little moment where she's like, I can't even put on toe shoes. Which is kind of fun because she wasn't even allowed to wear toe shoes when she was human. It's pretty great. It's pretty great. They just come with the tutu package. I feel like I can dance for everyone. Not for myself, but for all of them. Tutu, Ahiru, the little duck that was inserted into the story, is the most selfless character of them all. And that selflessness is strength. There is something incredibly potent about seeing all of the body language that we're familiar with dance with me coming from this little duck. There's something innately potent about it, and I don't know how to describe it in words and things. It just is. It's just beautiful. Let's all dance together. Haha, you're nothing but a duck. Yeah. But I'm a duck who can dance. Dow, dow, dow. For real, it's just badass. It's just utterly badass. Communicate my feelings through dancing. And we get this series of lines that are just like dropping pretense and just speaking to an audience. Just, this is how you can be in the real world. This is how you can be. Don't ever decide that you can't do something without trying. Communicate your feelings through whatever medium you have available to you. Do what you can do and love yourself for it. These are powerful ideas, and they all lead up to, because I'm the one who's going to make my story. Or, in the other format, you are the one who makes your own story. It's easy to feel in our modern crazy world like we all lack power, right? We're not big corporations or political entities. We don't have millions of dollars of lobbying money to throw around or immense audiences online that we can shape and make do what we want or make follow us or change their minds or ideas. But we do have power. We have some level of power over our own stories. And I know it often feels like we're just stuck, like we are powerless, like other things, maybe people, maybe incomprehensible, strange machinations created over hundreds of years by legal systems and economic systems are constructed to beat us down and force us into particular paths. A story like Princess Tutu flies in the face of all of that. Says, achieve your own happiness, achieve your own glory. Hope is ever present if you only look within to find it. If you only recognize that despite being small and seemingly powerless, you are capable of changing the people around you, of breaking them free, of showing them truth and goodness just by being yourself. And I think that's the dopest goddamn moral of any story that I have seen or read in a long, long time. Hell yeah, Princess Tutu. Good job. Good job. Let's all go back to our real selves. Treasure our own feelings. And no, the dance is not as beautiful as Princess Tutu's. But that's not what matters, right? Art isn't always about perfectionism. It's usually about expression. Although, there can be plenty of arguments about that. Powerful emotion that shone a warm light. Tutu chooses to act. Fakir, as the storyteller, chooses how the world reacts to her in some way. To some extent. That's actually an interesting way of thinking about it. Yeah, dance all you like in the darkness of despair. And then we get this amazing cut as he leaps up and just flies his way up. So cool. And then a mistake is made. Dance with the duck until she exhausts her strength and dies. And I believe I said at this point, that's a bad move. Because that, right there, that's a hero. And heroes don't get tired. Not when they still have hope. And that's exactly what happens. Ugh. Man, when I think about like Determinator protagonists, I think of like shonen anime protagonists. I think of Naruto's and our Susuke's, and our I don't know, not Bleachy Boy so much, not Bleachy Go. Who else is it? Luffy's, our Lufa sponges, and our Yusuke's, our Yusuke Uramushi's. Think of those as Determinator protagonists. You don't usually think of a cute little ballerina girl who turns into a duck, but because she's actually a duck, but then she becomes a ballerina and then dances. you don't really think of her as a hardcore drive through it via pure motivation and force of will sort of character. But hot damn, she's the most determined determinator that I've ever seen. I love it. Mm. Mm. Also, again, props to Aotoa. And what does Tutu's dance do? It inspires everybody else. I won't ever give up. I'll kill the raven without fail. And I'll save Rue. Hell yeah. And we have Tutu battered and beaten and pushed around all over the place. At the same time, the door bursts down and Aotoa is the last line of defense. And he does defend Fakir. Let's not get violent. Oh no, we're getting violent. Love his giant axe. It's actually pretty cool. This cut is super dope, and I just want to frame by frame it because it's so cool. Flippy Dippy doing all the way through all of these gigantic talons coming out of nowhere. This is just dope. I love this. But he's not going to do it alone. That's another thing that's really cool here. Can't convince them that this is the point. The story is still being written by a mighty power. Don't try to get in the way. Don't try to get in the way. Don't try to do something on your own. No, I won't give up. I can still dance. Right, Fakir, right. No matter how much she was hurt, the duck would not stop her dancing. Because it was the only thing she could do as she was now. But it was also a great thing that she could do. And I love that in this moment we've seen Ahiru beaten and bruised and battered and scuffed up, but Fakir envisions her whole and pure and almost glowing. And that's the version of her that he sees and writes. And that's the strength that she takes forward. Everybody helps everybody, and everybody helps everybody achieve themselves. Don't give in. Don't be held captive. Don't give up. Don't be afraid. And again, these are directly at the audience. Don't give in. Don't give in. Don't give up. Don't be afraid. Even when you're battered and bruised and wounded and barely able to stand, you stand again and dance. And only after going through that gauntlet of pain and suffering and difficulty and hardship will your true glowing internal hope really shine through, and will everyone look at you and go, whoa. And so they do. And the power flows out from her. And this little duck, added as an afterthought to the story by Drosselmeyer, Foolish, Foolish, warms the people's hearts. Hope. And we get a goofy little scene of Drosselmeyer fully falling out of his rocking chair. And it's all glory from here, baby. It's all glory from here. Vroom. To the core. To the center of the raven. Through all of these... I don't know why the ghosts are there, actually. I don't know what that's about. They pierce it together, and we win. Oh no! The story's going to end! But what's going to happen? Well, our characters will take control of their lives, become their true selves, and eventually we'll come here, which is very weird, and find a recording machine to keep the story running. This whole time he's been sourcing ideas from the city. Well, not he, just his machinations, his machinery. Giving birth to the tragedy that Drosselmeyer enjoys. And so we tear that thing down. And Fakir says, I'll write the rest. I'll take on the responsibility. I'll accept my fate as storyteller and author. and I'll write the rest of this story in a way that makes everyone free to do as they need to. Because Fakir's actually a storyteller. He's actually alive, right? He's actually met these people and cares about them and has compassion for them and can write their story. And so he does. Our beautiful couple. But I have the raven's blood inside me. Okay. I think I have it too. So what? We're us. We're fine. Who cares? And that little bit of imperfection makes the prince actually capable of being a good prince. Not loving everyone equally, but able to love his princess most of all. And so she gets everything that she ever wanted. Both happiness and glory, I would say. I love you. I love you too, Ryu-chan. This is the first time that Ahiru has said, I love you. I got very worried when she said this. I was wondering if we're gonna get, like, pop in. Drosselmeyer's like, hey, just saying. I was never completely explicit that Tutu has to say, I love you to the prince. Haha, you said I love you. Bing! Sparkles. No, but he was explicit about the prince thing, so thank God. Because that would have been terrifying. Also, maybe that just wouldn't have happened because Drosselmeyer is no longer in control of the story. Either way, out from under his thumb, we're able to express ourselves wholly and completely. And find connection between these two characters who've been alternately friends and at odds for so long. This scene is just beautiful. And getting Yuzuru in there just being like, oh, I finally get it! Yes. Supposed to be a brilliant tragedy. But instead it became happy, thanks to one little duck. And nobody remembers any of it. All the teachers change, all the people change, and all the animal people are just animals. And even Neko-sensei gets married. To think that a mere duck had that much hope. Where my beautiful tragedy is ruined. And we get two wonderful little lines. I never dreamed a character inside the story would change the story. Oh wait, am I a character in a story too? If so, then I'm a character in a story who's been changing a story this whole time. Oh no. One last little jab. One last little goof. What a finale episode. Give me a sec to just sit on this. Drink some tea. I love this line. Just skimming back through it. Aotoa, well, happens over a couple of scenes. Watch out. Aotoa jumps the bookman, puts himself into harm's way, and tells Fakir, Fakir, right! In the meantime, Ahiru finds herself in a bit of a pickle because Fakir's voice has disappeared. Damn it. Damn it. We get this line. Right. Right for the person who's waiting for your story. There are a lot of lines in this episode that are almost explicitly fourth wall breakingly real. And this is one of them. Those lines about hope and perseverance were another set, but this is one of them. Right. Right for the person who's waiting for your story. But is this just toward Fakir? As Aotoa turns directly toward the camera and says it? Or is it toward all of us? All of the potential creators and authors and writers out in the audience watching this? Right. Right for the person who's waiting for your story. Not just the character in your story who's waiting for their next step, but for the reader or the future author who are waiting for your story to inspire them or change them. Write for people, not for yourself. Write for others. Write a story that means something to someone. And that's what Princess Tutu does, and that's what good stories do. So in this moment, Aotoa, the not author, gives Fakir the one piece he needs to be really that author. And what form does that take to write out this tragic sequence of Ahiru fighting against all odds? What is it? How does it express itself in Fakir's face? Through deep tears, through weeping, staining the page with his own tears. Why? Because he does have that compassion for his characters. Because they're waiting for him to write. Because it matters what he writes, and he cares what happens to them. In this moment, he transcends. He becomes a knight of the pen, a true author, unlike Drosselmeyer. Again, Drosselmeyer just takes action figures and smashes them together. He'll never weep for one of his characters, for their struggle, or for how much he cares about them. He'll only laugh. Fakir is capable of either, and in this moment he weeps for Princess Tutu's struggle, and for his love for her. So he writes, respectfully, compassionately, completely, as though she is real because she is to him. As though everyone who reads his story is real because they are to him. If there's a moral or a lesson here, besides persevere, hope is everything. Happy endings are worth fighting for, even if they seem impossible. Then there's also a lesson for those individuals who style themselves as authors. And it is to write. Write for the person who's waiting for your story. Damn. Hot diggity doggity damn, this was a good episode. I have a couple of thousand different little half thoughts floating around in my head. But I think all I can say is this episode is glorious. And this last stretch of Princess Tutu, with the twists and turns of the last few episodes, have been fantastic storytelling and fantastic meta storytelling. In ways that I simply could not have expected from Princess Tutu. At the very, very beginning of watching this show, I put up this sort of goofy meme image that was like what I watched, what I expected, what I got from Princess Tutu. And the what I expected was like dumb ballet stuff. And the what I got was like ninjas guitar battling or something. I don't feel like that's right. I don't know what would be right. Like Shakespeare, ballet, I do feel like there's an element of heavy metal to just how hardcore this story is sometimes, and how dark it sometimes gets. I feel like the heavy metal element of the ninjas having a guitar battle isn't completely wrong, but I don't know how to incorporate that. Okay, so it's a Shakespearean ballet set to an alternately classical and also heavy metal soundtrack with a steampunk vibe, because machinery and stuff, and it's also just badass, and it also contains deep and serious lessons about life and storytelling and characters and reality. How do you conclude Princess Tutu? Like, how do you conclude a discussion of this show that is like everything? Because this show is everything. It is human, and it is a multifaceted exploration of layers and layers of different types of the human experience, of failure and despair and hope and happiness and glory, community and communication and love and hatred, evil in a truly compelling form of evil, both as Drosselmeyer, this sadistic creator, and as the Raven, this, if we continue to view it that way, this sort of greedy audience. And it's also got this multi-layered meta perspective on itself and on storytelling in general. How do you wrap this up in a satisfying way? I don't know. I guess you just watch the show again? You just point at it and go, this is really good. And that's it. I I feel like I'm incapable of discussing too much more about this show. I feel like I just have to accept at some point that compared to the authors of this show, I am but a duck, and all I can do is do a little dance and say, look at it. It's beautiful. 'Cause it is. This is a cool story, and it's a story about stories, which is pretty much the most valuable story or about valuable type of story for someone like me who is deeply invested in and interested in stories. And also I've started like making stories as well, which is hard and weird, because the D&D. But gosh, what an interesting set of tales. This has been an awesome 26 episodes of animation. I'm super glad that this show won that poll, and I'm super glad to have watched it. This is a unique one. It's also sad to me that I don't think this show gets the respect that it deserves, because you look at what's printed on the tin, right? And you're like, weird ballerina shit princesses, come on. Nah. But it's nothing like that. This is a gorgeous, wonderful, heartfelt, heartwarming show. And I love it to pieces. I think that's a wrap. I've been Teeaboo. This has been the finale of Princess Tutu. I hope you've enjoyed this story as much as I have. If you've got any thoughts whatsoever about any of the nature of this world, or the characters, the choices that they make, or anything for the entire run of the series, throw them in the comments. I would love to read them. In a week or two, there will be a poll going up on my Patreon soon. And within a week or two, we should have some sort of result for what will replace Princess Tutu in this Friday slot. I have no idea what I'm gonna do, thematically for that, poll-wise. I just don't know. If you've got any particular suggestions of interesting shows, either that jump off from Princess Tutu or are otherwise underappreciated and interesting or whatnot, throw them in the comments. Please don't throw shows that have aired within the last, year or so. I'm just gonna ignore you completely if you throw, oh, watch OVAdrive, watch Great Pretender. I'm just gonna ignore you. So if you do have ideas of shows that may have flown under my radar and have interesting things to say, I'd be super down to watch another show that has something else to do with storytelling or some other meta element or meta layer that we could compare and contrast with our run through Princess Tutu. But however it turns out, we're going to watch something else come next week, and I hope to catch you there. That's going to be it. I hope you've enjoyed, and I hope to see you next time. Peace, and keep dancing.